Welcome to Awakened Stories. I'm Marcus, and I am absolutely thrilled you're here for today's explainer. We are looking at something today that is fundamentally expansive. We're going to dive into two really profound parables from the spiritual teacher Osho. One is about an airplane passing over a remote jungle, and the other is about an eagle raised by chickens. And you know, these aren't just fun little stories, they are essentially mirrors. They reflect our unconditioned nature, the vastness of what we actually are, and the frankly surprising ways we actively shrink our own worlds. So let's jump right in. We're going to unpack these two incredible narratives to figure out how we can break free from our self-imposed boundaries and recognize the unseen magic that's constantly hovering right above us.
So, tell me, have you ever experienced something you just couldn't fit into any known category? Like a moment so strange or beautiful or completely out of the ordinary that your brain literally just stalled. Keep that exact feeling in mind, because I want to drop you directly into a story. Imagine you're in a deeply remote jungle village. This is a community completely isolated from the modern world. No electricity, no phones, zero concept of modern machinery. It's a quiet afternoon, exactly like every other afternoon for centuries. And then, suddenly, a strange, deafening roar starts echoing through the sky. The villagers look up, and cutting through the clouds is this massive, silver, mechanical bird, an airplane. It's something that to them simply shouldn't exist. It defies every single law of the universe as they understand it.
Now watch how this builds, because human psychology kicks in instantly. Step 1, the plane passes overhead. Step 2, total, paralyzing bewilderment. The villagers are terrified. But here's the thing, the human mind absolutely hates a vacuum. It cannot tolerate standing in the presence of the inexplicable for very long. It's just too uncomfortable. So we arrive at step 3, grasping for familiar explanations. The village elders gather. They start talking. They say, it is a strange chariot of the gods, or it is a rare silver eagle. You see what they're doing? They take this completely alien, staggering reality and forcefully press it into a box they already recognize. And once they do that, step 4, normalcy returns. The anxiety dissipates, they go back to cooking, cleaning, and farming. They successfully explained away a miracle.
And this brilliantly illustrates Osho's deeper point. He tells this story to hold a mirror up to the rest of the world. Think about figures like Buddha, Lao Tzu, Jesus, or Rumi. These extraordinary mystics have been flying overhead our entire lives. Throughout human history, beings of profound, inexplicable depth have appeared, pointing to a reality that completely transcends our everyday, mundane existence. And what do? We react exactly like those bewildered villagers. We're terrified of the vastness they represent. So instead of letting their mystery transform us, we categorize them. We turn them into dogmas, into statues, into neat little historical figures. We grasp to the familiar so we don't have to face the staggering, terrifying freedom they are actually pointing toward.
So the absolute crucial point here is this. We reach for the familiar to explain away the extraordinary. And I want to say this with immense tenderness. We aren't just talking about historical figures here. The villagers in that remote jungle, that's us. We are the villagers, and the airplane isn't just Buddha or Rumi. The airplane represents our own interior life. Have you ever had a moment of sudden, inexplicable peace? A surge of joy for absolutely no reason while doing the dishes, or a feeling of deep connection just looking at a sunset? That is the airplane passing overhead. And usually within seconds, our minds rush in to explain it away. We say, I just had a really good cup of coffee, or I got 8 hours of sleep last night. We take the extraordinary magic of being alive and we downgrade it to something safe and familiar.
To really understand why we do this, we need to transition into Osho's second parable. This is the story of the eagle and the chickens. Imagine a hunter finds an eagle's egg up in the mountains and, out of curiosity, brings it down to a farmyard and slips it right into a chicken's nest. On one side, you have the eagle's potential, the vast, open, limitless sky, soaring on thermals, raw power, and total freedom. On the other side, you have the chicken's reality, a bounded, fenced-in farmyard, head down, pecking at the dirt, fighting over scraps. These two totally opposite realities are about to collide in one single creature. Now watch the tragic timeline of this eagle's life. Days go by. The eagle hatches right alongside the chicks. It looks different, sure, but it looks around and thinks, well, I guess I'm a chicken. Months pass. The king of the sky is now pecking at the dirt, fighting over worms, dreaming little bounded chicken dreams. But then, years later, a fateful moment happens. The eagle chicken looks up from the dirt. High above the farmyard, gliding effortlessly across the massive blue sky, is a majestic eagle. Our eagle chicken feels a sudden, strange thrill in its chest, an ancient, unexplainable resonance. It turns to the flock, points a wing at the sky, and asks,
What is that magnificent creature? An old wise chicken looks at the young eagle, shakes your head, and says, "That is an eagle. He is the king of the birds. But do not think about him. We are chickens. We do not fly." Think about the profound tragedy of that. The eagle bows its head. It accepts this answer. And for decades, right up until the day it dies, it returns to the dirt, pecking, never once opening the massive wings folded right against its own sides.
This brings us to a really vital concept: conditioning. This is the collective certainty of others that keeps us grounded in the farmyard. Notice what happened in the story. No one tied the eagle's wings. No one put the eagle in a cage. No one even threatened the eagle. The eagle stayed on the ground simply because everyone around it was completely, 100% certain of the boundaries. That is exactly how conditioning works on us. We accept our limitations, our anxieties, our smallness, not because we're forced to, but because all the other chickens around us are so deeply convinced that this farmyard of stress and limitation is all there is. We absorb their absolute certainty, and we forget to look at our own wings.
But here is the massive, expansive truth that Osho is pointing at through this explainer. You have wings. You simply forgot. I want you to really let that land. This isn't just some sweet, motivational metaphor. What would it mean, practically speaking, if you realized you weren't a chicken? How would you wake up tomorrow morning? What if you stopped buying into the collective panic, the constant need for approval, the frantic pecking at the dirt of social media or office politics? Remembering your wings means recognizing that your natural state is vast, peaceful, and totally unconditioned. It changes how you breathe, it changes how you react to stress, it changes absolutely everything.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with one final massive question. What airplane has passed over your jungle that you explained away? Think about your own life. What brief, beautiful moments of wonder, peace, or profound connection have opened up for you, only for you to immediately shut them down because you didn't have a neat little category for them? The magic is there, the sky is there, the airplanes are flying overhead every single day. The only question is whether you will look up and finally remember who you actually are. Sit with that.